Let's do a little practice with credit cards. So first, what would the finance charge be on a monthly balance of $600 with an APR of 23.99%? Well, remember that the APR first needs to be changed to a decimal and then divided by 12 to make it a monthly percentage rate because we do monthly payments on credit cards. We will then multiply that by the balance of $600, and our finance charge will be roughly $12. You get 11.995. If you round to the nearest penny, 5 tells you to round up, which would make it an even $12. And number 2, your friend has to make a $1,000 charge on their credit card to pay for car repairs and can only make the minimum payment for the next 3 months. Assume an APR of 15.99% and a required minimum payment of 5%. What will be the balance at the start of month 4? Now, we are also going to assume that the finance charge starts right away, okay, just to make this problem maybe a little bit more interesting. So we'll call this friend Billy. The APR, not a bad APR really, of 15.99%. So 0.1599, we divide it by 12, and then we multiply by our balance, and our balance is $1,000. So when we do that, we are going to get a finance charge of $13.33. To find the new balance, we're going to add those together. So previous balance plus the finance charge gives me $1,013.33. To find my minimum payment, I'm going to multiply my new balance times 5%, which is 0.05. So when I take 1,013.33 and I multiply by 5%, I get $50.67. So that's the minimum payment. Now, if I owed $1,013.33 and I paid $50.67, then the following month I now only owe $962.66. Since my balance has gone down, my finance charge should go down. Okay, so when I go to find my finance charge, I multiply APR divided by 12 times 962.66. And my new finance charge did go down by 50 cents, and it's now $12.83. I add my beginning balance plus my finance charge, and I have a new balance of $975.49, right? Because I added these two together. So, to find the minimum payment, I take my new balance of $975.49, multiply by 0.05, and I get a minimum payment of $48.77. So the minimum payment does go down just a little bit because I owe less. So now, if I'm taking $975.49, I take away the $48.77 that I paid, I now owe $926.72. Can't read my own handwriting. 72. Again, I'm going to say, okay, change my balance. So now I'm going to multiply by 926.72, and I get a new finance charge of $12.35. So it went down by almost 50 cents that time. And now I add those together to get my new balance of $939.07, and it should make sense. My new balance is going down, so when I multiply that by 5%, I get even a smaller carryover or a smaller payment because I owe less. So again, I subtract. When I subtract these two values, I now owe at the beginning of month 4 $892.12. So I like these problems because it really emphasizes your step-by-step. You do it just over and over. Finance charge, to find the finance charge, APR divided by 12 times your balance. To find your new balance, you take your beginning balance plus the finance charge. And to find the minimum payment, you multiply your new balance times the required minimum payment percentage, which in this case is 5%. I then subtracted new balance minus the minimum payment to get my beginning balance, and then I did it all over again. So there is your practice with credit cards.